Have you ever thought about applying for a grant? I'm talking about big money that's free, do not have to pay back. You can have it for your business. If you have thought about applying for a grant, then hang in there. I got a guest on the show today that's going to knock your socks off. Hi, and welcome back to Woman's Heart Podcast on VOE Network. I'm your host, Edna Howard. I'm the founder of Voices of Encouragement. It's an organization designed to empower women. And I'm super excited you're joining me for another empowering message because this quarter three, we are focusing our energy on showing up with resources and tips and tools for businesses all over the world and everything pertaining to operating as a solopreneur, entrepreneur, dualpreneur, side hustler, nonprofit and for-profit business owner. And as a mindset coach, we specialize in helping women find and claim their personal power. Voices of Encouragement provides coaching, educational products, training, mentoring, and empowerment workshops and networking for women all over the world. Again, we tap into a variety of states and all over the world. I'm talking about across country, everywhere, UK, Uganda, we're everywhere. So today I'm honored and privileged to have on the show with me, Miss Janene Ackles. Now, Janene is the founder of Grantastic Consulting LLC. She considers herself a grant addict. I love that. She is the one-stop shop for all nonprofit needs. She consults with nonprofits from start to funding. And Janene trains board members and helps to keep organizations in compliance as well. Now, over the last year, she has successfully secured over $7 million in grant funding for organizations across the U.S. That's pretty impressive, Janene. And Janene's motto is, there is no grant too small than the grant you don't apply for at all. That's good. I love that. So think of me as your chief encouragement officer, bringing you firsthand expertise and knowledge from an awesome consultant and coach who is helping nonprofits, and I believe for-profits too, right, Janene?
Yes.
For-profits as well, to secure grant money for their businesses. Welcome to the show, Janene.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I think that this is a wonderful platform you have. And even the way that I met you, I tickled pink about all of this good stuff. So, I'm just excited to just share some information.
Awesome. We're super excited to have you on the show with us so you can share all that wisdom and knowledge and drop some gold nuggets on the audience today about grant writing and your expertise in your field and all your everything you offer in your suite of services. So we're looking forward to hearing from you. So let's jump right on in. I would like for you to share from your heart who you are and what makes you get up in the morning.
I love that question. Well, I think of myself as just an advocate, period. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I'm usually thinking is, well, I get up in the morning and I try to make sure that, I give my inspirational time in the morning to God. That's the first thing, I know when I'm off key if I haven't done that in the morning. So that's the best thing to start out with, But once I do my thank yous to the Lord and all that good stuff, I jump out there and the first thing that always comes to mind is, who is it that I need to help today? And so, and it's really crazy because I have probably been that way all my life. I was looking back on things, even as a young girl, how I would say, I want to help this person do this. I want to help this person do that, and it was really amazing because as I look around and I look over my life, no matter how hard I had it or whatever happened with me, if I had 2 loaves of bread, I'd give somebody else my loaf, and because I always knew, and I was always raised that way, that if I provided and gave to somebody else, God would never, leave me out. And that's just been, I have to tell people that, I'm not a minister or a reverend or anything like that, but I like to tell people who I am. And I follow the spiritual things of the Bible. That's just who I am. So when you say, who am I have to share those things with you. I love my reason for getting up in the morning is knowing that today is going to be a better day than yesterday, no matter what happens, whatever comes my way. I look forward to being able to jump out there and advocate for those who can't articulate. That is
I
my
love it.
thing.
Awesome.
And that's part of how I got into grant writing.
Mhm.
Two reasons how I got into grant writing. Years ago, when my children were small, because I was a single mom of 4, my children, my oldest son was having medical issues, a lot of them, where he was just falling out, having seizures. I couldn't really work. I couldn't work that much.
Right.
And
Right.
because if he even winked wrong, they were calling me. So
Right.
I was having a lot of issues with that. And I also, and I don't mind sharing, I also had moved away because I had been in a domestic violence situation, and I need to be safe. And
Right.
anybody that's
Right.
in that, don't think of yourself as being weak, because you are very strong. I have to tell people that.
Exactly.
And so I always tell people where I moved to was Timbuktu. At the
That's right.
time, it was so far away.
That's
It
right.
was like in the woods, over the river, through the woods, way past grandmother's house.
Right.
And but we were fine there, but it was just trying to restart, get things together. And so got there, and of course I moved and everything. And then a couple months later, I was laid off from a job. I was like, what am I gonna do? I have nothing. I wasn't child support, of course not. I was just in a place, and this is why people will understand why I lean highly on how God provides. I literally really had nothing but clothes on my back, a couple of pieces of furniture, because I had to start all over. Someone approached me. I'll never forget. I was 3-4 months in a hole with rent. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do.
Right.
And so for the 6 months while I was getting unemployment, I studied how to write grants, or how to do that, because the big thing back then was what's his face, Lesko, and all that kind of stuff, and everybody
Right.
And so what I did was I just ran out, and I learned about it because I was already a writer. I was a technical writer for government contracts.
Right.
I ever even wrote a grant. And I said, well, I'm going to set up this seminar. I don't know who's all coming, but I'm setting it up, because I wasn't a grant writer yet, but I was telling people, hey, I can write your grant,
Right.
Because I was saying those things that weren't as though they were. And
I love it.
so I had a seminar, and I talked to these people, and 75 people showed up for my first seminar in 2003. 75 people. It was amazing.
Wow.
I knew in there that was something I really wanted to do.
Right. Love it.
So, yes. So this pastor approached me. I told you I was 4 months behind in rent. I ain't had no money. And so the pastor approached me. He said, if you can write me this grant, he said, I'll make sure that your rent is paid. I'll never forget that. I got it, and I said, oh boy, showtime.
Right. It's time to put all of those skills into action. Right.
Well, believe it or not, the very first grant I wrote, I got it.
I believe it.
And I knew that this was something that I wanted to do after that. I didn't know how I was going to evolve or anything, and I've evolved a whole lot since 2003. But it was exciting, He had his summer programs done. I mean, this was like a big time thing. The USDA grant.
Right. That's huge. That's federal.
Like a government grant.
Yes,
it wasn't like,
federal.
It was good stuff. So I was really excited after that. And I began doing it and learning how to own my craft and all that good stuff.
Learning how to own it.
It was so crazy, because that was like my story for many years about how things would happen. I wouldn't have any money, and I'd get a client. Boom.
Right.
It would take care of whatever it was, So what I like to encourage people with is that keep on, because if you quit, my thing is that winners aren't quitters. And baby, you know which one I am.
That's right. I do. I know. I've been talking to you. I was like,
right.
she is
And I tell
phenomenal.
people that all the time. And I think that a lot of us need to just put that in our spirits.
Right.
Because I'm a big encourager. I encourage everybody. I don't care where you are in life.
Right.
And I laugh because a lot of people look at me and they're like, you do so much stuff. I do. But it's amazing. And one of the things that I do right now, while I am running my business, I also have my own nonprofit, as well as I am running for a city council seat in my city. So,
wow. So you stay, it's energizing though. It's like everything complements each other. So that's awesome.
They do. Being able to, once we get that seat, because see, we speaking, we're going to get, that allows me to cover a larger group of people in my area. Absolutely. I already work all over the United States. I have clients from coast to coast, from the East Coast to the West Coast, California, Washington, Florida, Texas, you name it, I've got them. But one of the things that's exciting about that is that you can take what you do and craft it and use it in municipalities. One of the things I was excited about last year, within 60 days, a local municipality in the area, I got them almost $1 million.
Wow.
60 days. Yes.
Awesome.
So it's exciting. And I always tell people, I can show receipts for anything that I tell you that I've got. I can show those letters and that are coming in, because I do believe that's what keeps people in the know about what needs to be done. But I know that's just the first question, and I just told you a whole bunch of stuff. But
you segued into the second question, and I was just like, this is so good, because I was going to ask you to tell us a bit about your journey, but you nailed it. So thank you. I didn't have to ask you, just went right into your journey, which I really love. I like that you can look at your life as you're blessed to be a blessing to others. And that's what you do. That's just kind of your natural inclination toward people, to help them. And it's always been ingrained in your spirit. That's what God placed in you. That's a gifting. Everybody can't do that, right? So thank you for what you're doing. And so step us through the process. Again, here we are. You took the leap of faith. How did you get to where you are now in terms of your practice? When did you decide to open the doors to your business? Just like in 2006, 17 years ago? Or did it just kind of creep up on you? Say, you know what, I need to open up a business because this is a real business. Well,
let me tell you something. There's no triumph without trials. I can tell you that.
Agreed.
I started out doing this, and I was grant writing. I was, back in the day, I was doing whatever I needed to do to take care of the house, whether it was grant writing, making business cards, writing papers for people, whatever the case was. Grant writing was just one of the things that I offered,
Right.
It was really, really, really a journey trying to get there. And then the other thing was, I was able to actually, once my son was stabilized and things got better, I was able to go back to work. So I went back to work, and I worked in a corporate job for many years. And but I never felt like that's where I needed to be. I never felt like I was in place. Right. One of the things I did is I tried to step out. I stepped out, I think it was 2007 or 2008. I went and I opened me a little office, and I was getting clients, but I didn't know the nature of the business like I needed to. Therefore, I was working hard and not making really any money. So it was like, oh, now I've got to go back to work. So because what happens is that your heart spills over into your business sometimes, and we have to learn how to keep the main event.
Exactly. Agreed. Agreed.
And so, and I mean, even today where I am now, I have to still do that. But So that didn't go as planned. So I ended up going back to work, and I worked for many years after that. But what happened was I said, I'm ready to start this business. Now, I was a business on paper, so solopreneur.
Anyway, yeah, right.
Yeah, because I claimed it on my taxes and all that good stuff. So it was legit. So, and I'm thankful that God gave me all of that, because I will tell you what happened for me. And this is not to take away from anything from anybody, because I know it was a rough time.
Right.
COVID is what happened for me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When people were getting monies for
yes.
and they were just going on trips and doing all this stuff. Let me tell you, I sat there and I used my wisdom. I used what God had put in me. I paid up every bill I could think of, because I knew I wanted to be in this business.
Right.
I wanted to do it, and I needed to revamp it. I needed to make it so that it would be successful.
Right.
So I sat down and I paid bills off. I was able to get money to put into my stuff. I was able to work with things that I had never worked with before.
Right.
And that's what actually the monies that I was able to get from that kind of pushed me forward. So even the verse, what the devil meant for your bad, God
had for good.
Had for your good. And so that's kind of what happened to me.
Right.
Everybody, so many bad things were happening. And I'm thankful, because see, there was a reason why I had this information on paper as a legitimate job. I mean, a legitimate business. It wasn't making all that much money, but when it came down to being able to apply for those funds and get the funding,
you were solid. You were solid. I love that. Yes.
I had done my just due. I had paid those bills. My credit was pretty decent at this point. And I was able to get those things. So that really was a great thing for me. So that kind of pushed me along. But then, COVID came, and I was blessed. I was not laid off from my job.
That is good. Yeah.
The workforce where I was at, 50% of the people were laid off, and God preserved me. So I always think about that.
That is definitely a protective covering. Yes.
I was still plugging along. And then, 21 comes, and I'm like, I'm tired of this place. But I was upset with myself, because I was like, when are you going to take the faith to just walk out there? All your kids are grown now.
Right.
You can't say, well, hey, I need insurance, I need this, and they're all
right,
grown.
right, because they were grown.
They'll say one's in the military, one, away in the Navy, and the others are, the last one in college had just finished, and all these things. So, it was really, and then in 2021, I got married. And so what happened was, I was like, okay, Janene, you got a husband. He works every day.
Right.
What are you waiting on? He's got insurance. If you need insurance,
just flip it. Yeah, just flip it. Right.
It was like 1, 2, 3, and I was still hanging on. And I'll never forget the last day I ever worked for anybody. My boss came to me, and he was talking about these changes, and he was like, he was like, you like working here? And I was like, I wish he hadn't asked me that. So I was like, well, how you don't want to say so, I've been here for 7 years, so it's pretty decent.
It was okay. It didn't serve you anymore.
Right. And so he says, well, we're getting ready to do these changes, make these changes or whatever. And I said, well, I'll get back to you. And he says, well, maybe we'll just talk on Friday. I said, okay, we'll talk Friday.
All right.
Friday never came, because what I did is I had oodles of vacation. I took all of my vacation. I was in a place where you didn't have to call to get your vacation. You could just take it.
Right.
You got ready as long as you had it. I took all my vacation, and I never forget what I told myself. I said, it's time. I said, I took those 2 or 3 weeks of rest. And at that last day, I wrote that letter saying I wasn't coming back.
Right.
And it was tough, because I had to, it was like push send. push this, push
It's
this.
like, but then you let it sit and walk by,
Yeah.
look at it again, think about it.
But because I knew once it was done, it was done.
Right. That's it.
It was final.
Right.
I did it and it was gone. And I got up. I never forget how it felt it was like a burden lifted off me.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew at that point I was walking in my calling and what I needed to do, because God has provided everything since then. And remember, I didn't even tell you this. I had just bought a new car. I had just bought a new house.
Right, right.
All those things
Everything was
I wanted.
lining up. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted everything before I ever walked away.
Right, right,
Got
right.
all those things, and God has been providing. He has made it so that I don't miss any payments. Money comes in, and we're able to do the things we need to do. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love it. So what sets your company apart from many other firms, Janene? Because you got, first of all, you're a woman of faith. I do know that. But what do you feel like is the superpower of your business that sets you apart, that people reach to you for their grant needs?
I think the individuality on how to working with each client collectively, because many of the clients that I get have been, I'd call it displaced by a different grant writer or something.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
So
I know
try to work with them where they are. You have to gain the trust and the knowledge of what they have. And at this point, I'm still growing. So I'm still working on a lot of things, because it was like the business just said, boom. And it was like, whoa. Still working on a lot of things. But one of the things is that I offer an array of services in one place. I offer everything from starting up your nonprofit to setting up your business structure, and also, the for-profit and nonprofit grants. I even people even bring me in to work with their boards, so I do board training. Also do webinars. I have ebooks. I have membership levels.
Right.
I'm here to serve everybody at every level that they are in, because some people may not be able to afford a grant writer. So I have a membership level where there's certain things, it's kind of like a DIY, but you have so much information to help you along the way. And every client to me is important to me, and so that's one of the things, and the services that I also have. Many of them, they come through me, but I have people that work for them. I have a bookkeeper who is who works with nonprofits, and I also have a for-profit one. So, all the things you need are in the house. So it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, I love that. You definitely have a variety of services you can offer to businesses, either nonprofit or for-profit. I love that you have that. So tell us a little bit about that ebook you wrote. Just a little bit, because I know you wrote that, and it's pretty powerful, and you get it out there to folks. So just share a little bit about that.
The ebook, my first ebook that I put out, and I'm working on some others. The first ebook I put out is for the nonprofit 501c3 EZ form. That's form 1023 EZ IRS form. What I did is I made a step-by-step book that at the end of that book, your information should be filled out.
Right.
I mean, I pretty much tell you how to answer those questions so that they don't have to send it back. I explain what each question means as we go along the way. So if you're looking to get that done and you want to prepare it yourself and make sure you got it right, that is the book for you.
Right.
I used to do this class where I used to call it the 1, 2, 3, and I still do it. I offer webinars, but a lot of times people's time get away from them.
Right.
So have something available for them where they can go and get it themselves, pull it down, work through it. It's that easy.
I love that. Well, we'll definitely make sure that you are going to give you information at the end so people can reach out to you and get a copy of that and download it and be able to, if they need it, to be able to walk through that process. But I have a question in terms of a piece of advice you can give to the audience, someone who might need your services, what steps should they take to get in touch with you to get your services?
Well, I like for people to know that I am verifiable and that I am a real person.
Yes.
So I do like that. That's one of the things
Yes.
I pride myself in.
Yes,
I do
ma'am.
have a pretty large social media presence, so people see me.
Yeah.
My free educational group is out there on the web. It's Professional Grant Writing for Your Business or Nonprofit on Facebook.
Okay.
I have over probably about 7,500 members in that group. So these people, and that group's been there for about 14 years. So if it was not legitimate, it would have been gone and reported by now.
Right. Exactly. And you certainly would have that many followers.
Right.
Right.
So I tell people, if you're unsure about what I do, or you're just unsure about the process, jump in that group, go back and read some of the threads. They'll
Right. Right.
help you. There's always information in there to help people. You know, especially, I deal a lot with with people that have churches and things like that. And I'd like to, let me give you some free advice here.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, because I like people to understand where they are. For those of you all who have a church and a ministry, hopefully you've not already incorporated your church as a nonprofit. If you incorporate your church as a nonprofit, that changes the game.
Right.
By law, a church is already a nonprofit endeavor. So you don't have to go and incorporate it you can incorporate it through the state, but you do not need to incorporate it through the 501c3.
Right. Right.
If you incorporate it and get a 501c3 signed, sealed, and delivered, you have now given yourself to the state and to the federal government to tell you what to do and how to do, who can preach, who can't preach.
Right. Right.
All your monies, everything have to go through them.
Right.
So my advice to you is set up a ministry that's faith-based ministry. Just make sure it's community, because most churches that are a 501c3, for the business of being a 501c3, they don't receive funding like those that just have a faith-based ministry. So I like to give people that little tidbit. I've got a couple.
That's good information. That's really good information. Yeah.
But that's one I like to, anytime I'm somewhere, I like to leave you with something, because my main focus is to make sure that you are educated on the process. So that's what I do. There's a lot of things out there that people don't know. And that's what gets exciting to me, to be able to give you something that you didn't get. And to get that kind of information, people have to pay for it, where I just give that kind of stuff away for free.
I love that. Yeah. So that's why you're successful, because you know how to balance all of that. So with that being said, you're a successful business coach and business owner. So what's next for Janene?
Well,
an author. Don't let me forget that. An author.
Yeah, well, I want to continue on. The one thing I always set my eyes on for years back, I plan on being on Fortune 500 magazine someday soon.
Awesome. I love it.
I want to show people that we can make it there. I've not seen in any of my dealings anywhere where I have seen a grant writer or anything like that sits up in those high spaces.
Right.
And I want to be that pioneer. I want to get there. I want to get there and show them that it's not just about grant writing, but it's the whole myriad of things that need to be done to support it. And you can monetize any of them, and I think a lot of people don't realize grant writing, in order to get grants, you have to be grant ready. That's a whole different piece by itself. I do a survey for my clients before I even take them on as a grant writing client. So I ask them certain questions. And if they're not ready, I'm like, you're not ready. This is what we need to do. We do the grant audits. We do things like that. And so I want a model set up where people can just glean from it. because there's enough for everyone out there. We all can eat. So it's not about me taking anybody else's clients. I just want my own, my clients that are my clients. I'm not talking about Susie Q's clients, because you need to serve them the way you need to serve them. But the ones that have been bestowed upon me, those are the ones that I want to take care of. Those are the ones we want to go forward with. So I'm looking to get higher heights right now. If it's nothing more than one thing that comes to mind that's in my heart, believe it or not, most of those years, because of my son's condition when he was young, I worked from home. And one of the things I wanted to do is set up a home network empire for those to be able to work from home, whether it's me training them how to write grants so they can set up their own businesses. It doesn't have to be just me. You see what I'm saying? It's
you have an army of people out there doing it.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not about me. It's about being able to take this to another level and help those out there that need help. I'm excited that I'm the catalyst to be able to bring things to certain people's neighborhoods or through this organization. But there should be many out there that can be able to do the same thing. So my thing is that all my fellow grant writers out there, I love you guys, especially when you're getting monies for everybody. I want to have a network of nonprofits, and I want to be, I'm just excited. It's a passion on the inside, and to be able to see somebody that looks like me and show my children's children, everybody that are looking to see what's out there. We have to band together. And that's my thing. I want to put a big coalition of us together so that we can rise to the top, because it's not about me. It's about what needs to be done. It's a bigger picture.
I love that. I love that. Janene, that is so good. Thank you so much for that advice. And it has been such a pleasure having you on the show today. And I just want to thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule, because I do know that you're busy, and all of the wisdom and gold nuggets you dropped on us today with your expertise. You are truly an amazing woman, impacting the business world around you and nonprofit and for-profit world. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being on your show today. I look forward to working with you and any of the other folks that may need my help.
Awesome.
I have a website out there for those of you who want to jump on the website. It's grantasticconsulting.com. And I know she's going to put it up there for you to see. Our telephone number to reach us is 844-438-5012. It's essentially the 501c if you do it in the numbers. But just remember, 844-438-501c or 5012. So that's how you reach us. And
that's creative. I love that.
And it was just something so that people could remember.
But yes, you can remember that very easily. I love that.
Yes, because I'm like, what was that number again? So definitely do that. And then our Facebook group is Professional Grant Writing for Your Business or Your Nonprofit. So you can jump in there. I am very good about reaching back out, answering questions and things like that. So I do look forward to it. And my thing is that if you're not ready to do grant writing, or you're just kind of leery about it, we have those membership groups. My memberships start at $19.99, where you'll get personalized grant tips. You get your own portal. You'll get to go in. You'll have grant tips, information, personalized leads for you, not for anybody else, but for you. And then we have a mid-level, which is our silver, and that one is $49.99 right now. And these are monthly costs. That the silver one gives you email support, where you can ask questions via email. And this is just giving you a few little things. You get everything from each level, but that one especially gets your email support, and you're able to do the 50% off webinars when we do the webinars. And then if you are part of the gold package, you get everything. And then you're also able to meet with me 2 hours a month in a group setting and ask your actual specific questions about the grants you may be working with, or get walk through. So there are ways to be able to have me in your back pocket if you still need me, if you're not ready to invest in having us to write your grants. So
I love that
for you.
Well, thank you, Janene. That is so good. And we're gonna wrap up the show because I know you got more to say, but we want them to reach out to you either on your Facebook or hit you up on the website or give you a phone call so you can start to work with some people. And we're all over the world. So everyone that's listening to this is definitely going to reach out to you who need your services. So thank you again. And we're going to wrap it up. What is that one piece of advice that you gave us that was so good? And we're just so thankful for that. And you shared your website, your information to the audience so they can reach out to you. And I want to say the mindset coaching updates. If you want to take a deeper dive and get some one-on-one coaching and join a group coaching session with me, you can reach out. We're under the VOE offers beyond the workshop, ICE coaching and consulting services. If you would like to make a mindset shift and transformation, you can reach out on the VOE me today at gmail.com, or you can reach on the website under voicesoфencouragement.com and see the suite of services we offer. And I love to say this at the end of every show. Until we meet again, Ephesians 4:1, walk worthy of the call for which you were called. Thank you, Janene.